please pay attention. When you are trading, you are exposed to risk. You cannot completely remove the risk, but you can effectively measure and manage your risk. You may wonder if there is any indicator that can help you to measure the risk. The good news is yes. And in this video, I want to introduce the most powerful indicator for this purpose. Just make sure you watch this video until the end and let's get started. Before I add the indicator, I'm proud to announce that recently I published a book, The Art of Price Action Trading. The link is in the description and you can get it later if you're interested to learn price action analysis and take your trading to the next level. Alright, to add the indicator to our chart, here we click on indicators and we search fair value bands, this one, which is an editor specs indicator and written by Quantify Tools. Alright, this is the indicator and as you can see it is overlaid on the price chart. First we go to the settings of the indicator and here in the inputs tab we scroll down and here we remove the inputs in the status line and then here we go to the style tab. And then here for fair value basis, here we increase the opacity to 80%. And we repeat this for the other color. Here for the red color, we increase the opacity to 80%. And then here for fair value deviation 1x for the upper line, we increase the opacity to 50%. And we repeat this for the lower band. And similarly, we set it at 50%. And after this, we scroll down to find the extreme fair value deviation. Here it is, extreme fair value deviation fell for the upper band. Here we increase the opacity to 30%. And similarly, we repeat it for the lower band and we increase the opacity to 30%. All right, now everything is clearly visible on our charts. And let's see how we use this indicator for trading. This indicator is one of the most powerful indicator on TradingView platform that shows dynamic risk levels in the market. As you can see, we have bands on the chart similar to Bollinger Bands or Keltner channels that shows deviation from average price, but unlike to those indicators that constantly readjust the bands based on calculations of standard deviation, this indicator is designed in a complete different way that remains smoother and constant based on special calculations from historical deviation. We have a fair value here, which by default is a simple moving average with length of 20, and then the indicator calculates pivot points above and below this fair value line, and then based on this information it calculates median deviation bands and they multiplied up to 3 to show us the extreme levels of deviation. Alright, so as I said, this middle line, which is a simple moving average with length of 20, is considered a fair value at any given time. So whatever your asset, whether it's a currency pair, stock or cryptocurrency, this line shows the fair value of the asset. As you can see, this line changes color between white and red. In times that the price goes above the fair value line, the line becomes white and this shows that the price is advancing, and in times that the price goes below the fair value line, the line becomes red and this shows that the price is declining. But please pay attention that with this indicator we are not focused on identifying direction of the market, but rather we look at this average line as the fair value of the asset and we are more focused on deviations from this fair value, which can show us different degrees of risk in the market. Here we have the first band above the fair value, and this is the first band below the fair value. This area is fair value, and outside this area is considered outside fair value. Outside the fair value is categorized with another two levels, as you can see, below the fair value and above the fair value. This fair value area, which is between the first band above and below the fair value line, is considered low risk. For this area, which is above the moving average line, the bias is up, and for this area, which is below the moving average line, the bias is down. For the outside fair value areas, for this area, which is between the first and second band, is considered high risk, and here the bias is up or consolidation. And similarly here, below the fair value area, the area between first and second band is considered high risk, and here the bias is down or consolidation. And the area which is between the second and third band is considered the highest risk, and as you can see, it is highlighted by blue and red color. Here this area which is highlighted by red color, the bias is down, and here this area which is highlighted by blue, the bias is up. Alright, here we have also a table which gives us some information and statistics about the fair value area and outside the fair value area. In this table, for each of these areas, we have a number. So for each of these areas, a number is assigned. Here is number 1, number 2, number 3, and here -1, -2, and -3. And for each of them, you can see that we have some statistics about the percentage of time that the price spent in that area and also volume, which this is a ratio of volume to volume moving average. And it's recorded every time that the price is in the given area. Depending on the time frame and also the volatility of the asset that you're trading, you may see different distribution in this table. But there is only one thing that never changes. The distribution of these percentages are kind of like bell-shaped distribution, which means that we have highest amount here at the center, which is the fair value area. The area is -1 and 1 here in this part, and gradually it decreases when we move farther away from the fair value. These informations are from this chart, and you can clearly see that more than 90% of the time the price was in the fair value area, which is this area between these two bands. Based on the table, 3% of the time the price was in this area, and also 3% of the time in this area. And for this area and this area that are considered high risk, you can see that we have a very small amount of percentages. This table also shows information about volume for each of the areas. For the volume, the distribution is in the opposite way. The ratio of volume is lowest here at the center for the fair value area, and it increases as we move farther away from the fair value area. You can see that we have highest ratio for these areas. Definitely you have experienced this in practice, where the price of the asset is increasing or decreasing considerably, and many traders just emotionally buy or sell in the fear of missing out. And this is exactly the case here. When the price is in this area, we have higher volume, but it is also in higher level of risk. And as I explained earlier, this is the highest risk area, and here the bias is up. So it's very probable that the price will turn up and reach to its fair value. Or similarly, when the price is around this area, which is the highest risk area, as I explained, the bias here is down, and it is very probable that the price will turn down and reach to its fair value. As you can clearly see, this indicator is amazingly showing us the different levels of risk in the market, and based on this table, more than 90% of the time on this chart, the price was in this area between these two bands, which is fair value area, and in the rest of the time it's outside the fair value area, and in very small amount of time we have the price in this area or this area. So based on the statistics here in this table, we know that when the price is in this area or in this area, it is considered rare and it's very far from fair value. So reversal of the price is probable to happen, and having the price here at fair value. Of course, this fair value line is dynamically changing, and so the position of the bands. Here in this part, the fair value was at this price range, and here in this part, the fair value is lower here at this price range. So here we have a dynamic indicator that depending on the market condition, it is adjusting the fair value and the bands around the fair value. As I mentioned earlier, with this indicator, we are not focused with the direction of the market based on this moving average line, and this is considered our fair value, and we are concerned with different levels of deviation from this fair value, and this gives us a measure of risk. Please pay attention that in these two cases, we had instant reversal of the price to the fair value, but it is not always like this. And in times that the buying or selling pressure is very high, we can just have running of the price in this area or even beyond that before having the price to reverse and reaching to fair value. Statistically, most of the time, the turning of the price reaches to fair value, and this reversal movement of the price can be just a pullback within a trend, or it can be a complete reversal and further movement of the price in that direction. So this indicator, besides helping you with measuring risk and being used in any type of trading strategy, it is also a perfect choice for mean reversion strategies, where traders try to find when the price is far above or below its average and then taking a reversal signal. For example, they look for the times that the price is far below the average, like in this case here, and then they take a long position, and after that they close their position position when the price reaches to the average or fair value. Of course, you should never take your trading decisions only based on this, and for any trade entry, you need more confirmation from other indicators or aspects of technical analysis. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask and leave a comment for me. I'll answer your questions as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit the bell so you get the notifications of my new videos. See you guys in next video and good luck with your trading.